Alright, we are going to be putting plastic on our greenhouse. Now we built this 3 years ago, and we bought this reinforced plastic, and basically I bought enough to go over it twice. So I bought enough to go over it again. So I am going to take all of this old stuff off. I'm going to take all of this wood off and try to reuse as much as I can, and of the wood, that is. And then we're going to stretch out the plastic over it. So this video will kind of be like in a time-lapse type fashion. I've emptied the greenhouse out, and I think the door is actually in pretty decent shape, and it was a pain in the butt to plastic in the first place. So I'm just going to leave the door in, but just the main part. The window is obviously glass, so we don't need to re-plastic that. Check out my old video. It's about 3 years ago when I made this this greenhouse. It has held up quite well, and we've used it from everything from chicken coop to duck coop to starting seeds to now we just put tomatoes in it, and it's just a huge, greatly environment for that, for tomatoes in Ohio. It has held up 3 years, so the plastic, that is. Everything else is decent. The wiring cages, you can see how like this is up farther than that. Basically, I would just go in there and push that out and put a zip tie in there. The zip ties do break quite easily, probably because of all the heat and then moisture, then heat and then moisture, which is to be expected. But the wood, with it being pressure treated, has held up exceptional, and you know, there it is. But we're going to stretch out some plastic now. Alright, the resheeting process has begun. So the first step is to take off all these little pieces of wood. I didn't break any, so I'll be able to reuse those. And then go around the bottom and rip off the old plastic, which I'm actually going to reuse. I may put it on firewood or something else. It's not totally ruined. It doesn't have holes all over it, just has holes in the edges. So I can still reuse that, which I will. The hardest part is pulling out like the crown molding staples out of that, or pulling, because I folded it over so many times that it did a pretty good job of holding. And so what I'll do is I'll finish this. I'll show you the naked greenhouse, and then me and Kyler are going to re-sheet it with new plastic. Alright, so we have our plastic here. We got our naked greenhouse, and we are going to roll it out first. We'll roll it out beside it, make sure it's long enough to cover it on both sides. Then we'll cut it with a knife. Now I did get this reinforced plastic. Like I said, I got a huge roll, big enough to do this 2 or even 3 times, and I got this from Menards. They have a website. I know that it's a Midwest store, so. Let's go ahead and get started. I'll kind of show you probably right in the middle. If I get in a groove, maybe not. So this is the plastic that I bought, because I know I get a lot of questions on my videos when I show the plastic. It's clear string reinforced sheeting. Like I said, I got 20 by 50. There's the SKU number from Menards. You can get it yourself. Made in the USA. It's pretty dandy stuff. Like I said, it lasted 3 years. So let's start this process. All right, we're buttoning it up here, almost done. It's best not to do this on a windy day. It's pretty calm right today, and so the back's the trickiest part, just because I have a window there and it's not flat or anything. For places like this, like I obviously messed up because it's like bubbled out, all you got to do is you pull it in, and you can just push it down, make it tight as you go along, and then you want to let it sit overnight before you put your little pieces of wood on, because it will settle a little bit, and then it'll get looser, and then you can pull it tight and then put the wood on. So the next step you'll see is the wood on, then it'll be a finished product, hopefully. Alright, so we did something a little bit different to reattach the wood, and the reason we put the wood on is because you could see like where we fold the plastic over, it just doesn't look the best
So I had a bunch of leftover screws from a project at church that I took all the screws out. Slow down there. So what we did was we screwed a bunch of holes into our wood. This is the last piece that is going to go on. So the next clip you're actually going to see is the finished greenhouse. Alright, Kai. One thing I did do differently is I did put a 2x4, the width across in the middle, and screwed it on both sides just to hold that shape. So what we're going to do is put some cardboard down, and then put the shelves back up the way we had them in the back, and then you'll see the finished product. Alright, so here's the final view of the resheeted and moved greenhouse. We used the mulch that was in it, which only took up about half, and then we had chipped up a bunch of honeysuckle, and that is what is in the rest. So there's the shelf in the back, and usually, like I said, what we'll do is we'll put some big tomato pots. We may do even 3 since we have so much more room since I moved the shelf to the back here, on both sides, and it'll be like a little secret garden. We'll do an update in the summer to show you guys that, because it's quite spectacular. So there you go. And if I didn't mention it before, I did re-zip tie because the other ones crack off with the high humidity in the greenhouse. There you go. Wasn't too bad. Maybe a day or two of work with me and Kyler out here doing, and there you go. So watch our other videos, like, subscribe, and also check out Kyler's channel, Kai Lambert. He has some videos on there that he's been putting on and been doing a good job being a little YouTuber. So there you go. God bless.